And I got to tell you, I am excited. You said excited, so am I. And I'm looking forward to working side by side with you and Jay and the team and figuring out what we could do here to help out.
And one of the things that we want to do today is to expand your mind on what a deal is, what you can get out of this course, and prepare yourself to actually take action. You may want to start clearing your calendar to have at least 90 minutes every week to work on this, because I tell you that you will be inspired. What you hear from Jay will inspire you to take action. And that's what moves the needle. It's the little things you do every week gets you better and better and closer to having the results that you want. So you can have great results, but it takes the little actions. So if you don't have time set aside to actually work on what we're sharing, you're going to miss out on this huge opportunity. So that's kind of it. Jay deserves a mountain of an introduction, but I'm going to skip it today so that we can dive into the meat. But he is going to want to know, and Jay, whenever you're ready, you can turn on your camera and we'll stop. But he wants to know who's in the room. So please let us know what your business is, what you're looking for out of this course. And here is Jay Abraham.
Thank you, gentlemen. Pardon my voice. I had a long day yesterday. It's a little bit rugged. So yeah, today is going to be a really fun, easy day because I'm not going to lecture per se. I'm going to reveal, so to speak. I'm going to share about myself, my journey, and then I'm going to share about you a little bit. And then I'm going to tell you what I want you. Yes, I'm fresh. Thank you. What I want you to start doing, being, seeing. Doing is actionable steps. Every time we have a session in this journey, I'm going to give you a very easy but an actionable step that I will truly hope you will take, because my observation of people in progressive training dynamics like this one's 13 weeks, tend to abdicate the process and just sort of be observers or people that are seeking intellectual stimulation. And unless you engage and start building the partnering, deal-making muscle, you will never be able to do anything with this. And I don't do things just to be entertainment. Long ago, I stopped. I do these with small groups because they fulfill me when people do things. They appall me when they don't, because this kind of methodology can extricate you from wherever you see yourself in your life. If you have a business and it's struggling or it's, plateaued, the different dimensions of partnering we're going to teach you in the mindset can get you to a much more elevated strata of revenue, success, everything. If you are in a career slump and you need to find a bigger, better, more fulfilling, both financially and emotionally and psychically career, this can do it. If you want, and I don't want to emphasize it, not that it isn't very powerful and profitable, I don't want to be a progenitor of pure business opportunity, but I made more money when I put deals together in my younger adult days than I ever did anywhere else, because I was able to see how to take one company, business, product, service, another that was right on point, connect the two, and then I was in what I call the toll position in the middle. So what I want to do is just today get to know you and you get to know me, because we're on a journey. And as I said, I purposely do very small pilot versions of everything. I want just to get to know each of you, get to try to identify what your relative goal is. We will then be able to track it, but also I or Scott and Brian will be able to circle back every week to what you learned, what you did if you in fact do the homework, and do the exercises, and then what you can do with it and how to see if it's starting to crystallize in your mind. If it is, they'll advance it. If it isn't, they will either do interventions or they will apprise me so I can really get you a little bit or a lot reset. This is a labor of love. The programs I really do are very, very expensive. This is a very experimental one. I'm doing it because I'm taking you at face value that you really want the outcome and you really are willing to do not really the work because it's not laborious, but the processes necessary to reap the rewards. So before we start understanding you a little bit, let's just talk about what is at stake here, because the stakes are high on the upside. The only downside is you waste your money, I waste my time, and you do nothing with it. And at the end of 13 weeks, you're back to square one. And I don't want that to happen. I'm committed, but I must tell you, and I'm not trying to be anything but a tough love advocate for your greatness. But if you do nothing with it, it will be a tragedy because it's so powerful. I can't remember all the things we did to introduce this program, i.e. the marketing and sales activities, but the numbers are amazing. Brian, if you have the agility, let's review for a minute some of those statistics that we used yesterday, the 4 or 5 slides, because I want to indelibly reinforce the game you're playing, no matter which of those 3 paths you want to take, or if you want to do all 3 of them, which if you do, I'm going to have some intervention because you got to prioritize one over the other, or you'll just be diffused. But let's see if you can find those slides, Brian. I know I do things last minute, but I want to see if I can start this with a very deeply entrenched motivation on the part of each person here to really achieve it, do it, learn it, master it, apply it, reap the monetary and the professional rewards from doing it. Can you find it?
It's loading up. I'm scrolling down.
It's fine. Just start at the beginning where it's the first slide that sort of introduces, the 3 times more, and then we'll go through the rest.
Right.
And I did ask, as I'm talking to Brian, not to the audience now, to get me the slide deck too, and so I have it. Yesterday, we did a very high level, very, very, very exclusive briefing to people that had a 10 million or higher company. And it had a lot of integrated parts, but it was all about working on the geometry of the business. And one section of it was all about power partnering. And there's only about 8 slides, and I may be the same 8 that I used to introduce this to you and what got you to agree to be part of it. But I want to review so you get the magnitude and the true impact this can make on anybody's top and, more importantly, bottom line. Tell me when you're ready, Brian.
I'm about to share right now.
Okay, good on you. Okay. All right. So let's just, and everybody, please engage. It will be tragic if you're on your phone or if you're multitasking, because multitasking does not exist. It just means you do many things crappy. And that's a disservice to what this can mean to you. So just a quick review. High growth brands, ones that grow much faster than their competitors, 3 times more likely to use marketing partnerships than low growth. What's that mean to you? It means that if you are in an ultra competitive environment and you want this for your business, this is the mother lode of differentiation. It means if you wish to get a job with somebody who doesn't appreciate it, this can give you a positioning. It means if you want to be a matchmaker, which you're welcome to do, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. I just want to make sure that everybody knows my first love and first purpose in partnering is to use it for client companies and entrepreneurs to explode their business. If you want to be a deal maker, a matchmaker, this is a great reason for you to use to get people to sign on to let you help them. Next, Over 2,000 of the top corporations here currently generate 20% of their revenue, but 40% of their profits from partnerships. Why 40%? Because it's incremental, it's newfound business. Many companies, and many of you, if you're doing this for your company, if you're not a huge multi-billion-dollar company, you have a certain fixed overhead, you have a certain cost structure that you've calculated that is the cost of generating a transaction, a sale, a client. But that's really illusory, because what you usually do when you calculate it, you take all the transactions you've done, you divide it by the overhead that you have, and it gets a calculated answer. But if you add one more transaction above that, and you don't have to add any more people, and you only have direct costs, all of a sudden the profit in the next transaction and the next can be many times the profit necessary to absorb your fixed static overhead. Now, sometimes you have to add more people, but normally that trails adding more revenue. Usually there's enough of a window of underutilization in a business, in your business, that you could add 10%, 20%, 30% more revenue. And that cost of servicing it will be much less than the cost of servicing the revenue you get right now that covers your overhead. I don't want to be too sophisticated, but when 20% of revenue can add 40% to the bottom line, that's again another reason for you to be very excited relative to your own business. It's another reason for you to get an employer excited to hire you if they don't do it. It's a reason that other companies should want you to be a matchmaker. And by the way, in my career, which has been independent and entrepreneurial most of the last 40 years, I worked for other people for the first 5 or 6. 90% of the jobs I did not exist. They were created for me because I was able to introduce an application, an area of opportunity, a revenue source that the company and the entrepreneur was not doing, and he or she was very excited about retaining me to do it for them. Just trying to give you context. Next slide. Pardon me. This is the money play here. What do top CEOs do with partnering? Microsoft, 95% of one of their biggest revenue areas, biggest profit centers, $32 billion comes from partners. Shopify, their partner ecosystem, meaning all the people that feed them sales revenues, users, generated 6.9 billion in revenue. Accenture acquired a company just for their partnership relation. It's an asset that makes the value of a company much greater because it diversifies income and it diminishes risk. SAP acquired Qualtrics for $8 billion and went public at, hold on, I got pictures in front of it, 21 billion because of, yes, partnerships. Channel partners in Japan, 40% of Zoom's business. Also, your company, clients, partnerships, you matchmake can get international reach, prominence, revenue through partnerships faster, easier, safer, and for almost no risk or investment through partnering. Next. The largest affiliate marketer in the US has 250,000 affiliates, 250,000 entities feeding them business. More than 2,000 strategic alliances are formed each year. 57% of organizations use partnerships to acquire new clients, customers, buyers, members, subscribers, visitors. 44% form alliances just to get new ideas, insights, innovate. 81% of the brands of the prominent brands use affiliate marketing, along with 84% of the publishers. So and you're already here, but being here doesn't mean that you're going to do anything with it. And I don't want to be entertainment. So if they can do it at that level, there's no reason you can't do it at one of those 3 levels we've talked about. For your business to secure a great position where you get a livable base, but you get upside on that profit center, because that profit center could be the tail that wags the dog. And I'll give you a couple more examples, and I think I talked about them, but let's see the next slide. I'm going to go through these again. You might have seen them. You might think, well, I already heard that. If you hear something, but it doesn't really congeal, you really don't know it. And let's remember something that is relevant to this relationship, but it's going to be even more relevant to all of the rest of your life. There is a profound difference between event training and process training. Event training is when you experience something one time. It could be reading a book, could be a training program, could be a consult, it could be a conference, a set of presentations. You can take all the notes in the world, but here's the truth. At best, if it's linear stuff, meaning it's not real inspired, innovative, or novel, you'll retain 9% at most, and immediately 9%. If it's at all stimulating and your mind starts really pondering it, you trip out and you miss half, so you get 4.5%. That's in the beginning. Over time, you don't recall any of the things you've even done. Most people are in such a hurry in the moment that the notes they take are cryptic. And if you're like me, I have terrible penmanship when I'm patient, but I have horrific penmanship when I'm in a hurry. And I'll put down a key word, assuming that 2-3 weeks later or a month later, when I finally have the time, because I didn't schedule allocated windows to really integrate